Beloved, chosen soul, pause for a moment. Take a slow breath. Let this second settle into your chest like a spark placed by a hand you cannot see. You did not arrive here by accident. Something higher pulled you in, stopped the steps, and pressed this message into your path because heaven needs you still. Long enough to hear. You've been moving through chaos lately, trying to stay strong, trying to figure things out, trying to keep your life from falling apart in places no one else even sees. But what you're feeling in your spirit right now isn't confusion. It's recognition. It's a pull. It's that holy interruption that happens only when the divine is trying to reroute your life. Listen closely, because the silence inside you is not empty. It's divine signal. Heaven has been watching you. The tears no one noticed, the responsibilities you carried alone, the fears you never said out loud, the moments you whispered prayers into the dark and hoped someone was listening. And today, heaven answers. Isaiah said God's word never returns void. And the word reaching you right now is not comfort. It is activation. You are stepping into a season where God does not just speak, He confirms. Not just guides, He provides. Not just comforts, He awakens. You've been running too fast, thinking too hard, pushing yourself past your human limits. You've been trying to fix everything by yourself: finances, relationships, deadlines, survival. But the Father is saying something very clear. Stop. Let me speak. You're not mentally overwhelmed because you're weak. You're overwhelmed because heaven is rewiring you. That stirring you feel inside isn't anxiety, it's acceleration. That heaviness isn't failure, it's formation. That restlessness isn't instability, it's transition. God is pulling you away from old patterns, old environments, old versions of yourself, because they can't follow you into what's next. You've outgrown conversations you used to enjoy. You've outgrown people you used to tolerate. You've outgrown rooms you used to shrink yourself to fit into. And deep down, you know it. You're not falling apart. You're being reorganized. Heaven is shifting your identity, stretching your capacity, sharpening your discernment. You are not being attacked because you are fragile. You are being attacked because you are rising. Because the moment a chosen one is about to step into purpose, the pressure increases. The enemy senses your elevation before you do. You've been giving without applause. You've been holding yourself together in silence. You've been fighting battles while still trying to smile. You've been carrying weight no one even recognizes. But hear this, you are further than you think. Every sacrifice, every tear, every moment you chose faith over fear. Heaven recorded it. Joseph was shaped in a prison long before he stepped into a palace. And just like him, your hidden season has been preparation, not punishment. What feels like delay is development. What feels like stagnation is strategy. What feels like being stuck is God anchoring your foundation so it can carry the next level. The reason you feel restless is because your spirit has already stepped ahead of your life. Your old season can't hold who you're becoming. People have shifted. Opportunities feel temporary. Your dreams feel louder at night. Your intuition feels sharper. And your patience for anything misaligned has dropped to zero. You're not becoming cold. You're becoming clear. Some friendships were chapters, not lifetimes. Some environments were classrooms, not destinies. Some connections were lessons, not homes. And the guilt you carry for outgrowing what God never meant to be permanent, release it. Heaven is transitioning you. And that transition is why everything feels heavier, louder, more intense. You are not losing your mind. You are shedding your old self. And listen, The darkness has been whispering lies because it knows something you don't fully realize yet. Your elevation has already begun. That is why the attacks increased. That is why the fatigue comes at the wrong moments. That is why old wounds tried to reopen. That is why you've been feeling spiritually sensitive. You are crossing the threshold of a new dimension. The place where clarity arrives, where peace returns, where purpose ignites, where your spirit stands back up. Heaven needs you still, quiet, open, because what God is about to reveal will reshape the way you see everything. Your calling, your relationships, your future, and even yourself. Chosen soul, breathe. Trey is not asking you to be strong in this moment, only awake. Because the next words you're about to hear will explain exactly why God needed you to stop, and why He is calling your name right now. Beloved chosen soul, lean in, because what comes next is not gentle. It is not surface-level encouragement. It is truth that cuts through the noise and strikes directly at the core of who you are becoming. You've been carrying a weight that no one around you understands. Even the people closest to you can't see the full battle you've been fighting inside. The pressure, the confusion, the emotional exhaustion, the questions you don't voice, the silent storms you push through with nothing but stubborn faith. You walk around functioning, but inside, you're tired in places rest can't reach. And yet, you keep going. That alone is proof you're not ordinary. Ordinary souls break under the kind of spiritual pressure you've survived. But chosen souls? They bend, they tremble, they ache. But they do not break. They transform. You are transforming. Look at what's been happening to you recently. Your spirit isn't the same. Your energy isn't the same. Your tolerance isn't the same. You can feel it. The shift, the stretching, the internal rearranging. Things that once excited you now drain you. Things you used to tolerate now irritate your spirit. People you once chased now feel heavy. Environments you once fit into now feel too small. That's not mood. That's not attitude. That's spiritual evolution. Heaven is upgrading your identity, and your old world can't accommodate it anymore. Listen closely. You're not pulling away from people. You're being pulled up. And elevation always looks like separation at first. The isolation you feel? It's not loneliness. It's insulation. God is removing the noise so you can hear Him. He's cutting ties you weren't strong enough to cut. He's shifting relationships you would have stayed in longer than you should have. He's closing doors you were too loyal to shut. He's blocking access from people who can't go where you're going. You are being separated because you are being prepared, and preparation never feels comfortable. That heaviness you've been carrying lately, the one that sits on your chest in the mornings, the one that makes you sigh without knowing why, that's not depression. That is spiritual pressure. Heaven is pressing out old habits, old fears, old wounds, old identities. Transformation always feels like destruction at first. You're not falling apart. You're shedding. You're molting. You're breaking out of a skin that can't hold your next level. Your spirit is outgrowing the size of your life. And everything that can't stretch with you is cracking. That's why you feel disconnected in familiar places. You can't tolerate shallow conversations. You sense hidden motives instantly. You get exhausted around chaotic energy. You crave solitude even when you didn't before. You're drawn to stillness, depth, and truth. You feel God pulling your attention inward. Nothing about this is random. You are in spiritual training. God is sharpening your discernment. You're seeing people's intentions more clearly. You're feeling energy shifts you used to ignore. your intuition is louder. Your dreams are heavier with meaning. You're picking up signals in the unseen before they manifest. That is the mark of someone stepping into higher assignment. You're not becoming cold. You're becoming wise. You're not becoming distant. You're becoming aligned. You're not losing friends. You're losing distractions. You're not changing for no reason. You're changing for purpose. Your soul knows something is approaching. Something big. Something long awaited. Something heaven has been preparing behind the scenes. And before God places a new mantle on a person, He always restructures their inner world. You're noticing it, aren't you? Your thoughts are clearer. Your emotional reactions are calmer. Your self-worth is rising. Your boundaries are strengthening. Your patience for nonsense is gone. Your appetite for truth is increasing. Your desire for meaning is growing. This is not personality change. This is identity activation. The old version of you operated from fear, wounds, survival. The new version of you will operate from clarity, authority, and purpose. And the enemy knows it. That's why the attacks increased. That's why small problems suddenly feel bigger. That's why you feel watched, drained, or spiritually sensitive. That's why you feel like something is trying to break you. But here's the part darkness always hopes you forget. If the pressure is increasing, it's because the purpose is increasing, and you're closer than you think. Chosen soul, hear this deeply. You are not being undone. You are being unveiled. You are stepping out of an identity shaped by survival and stepping into an identity shaped by assignment. This is why heaven needed you to stop long enough to receive this. Because the next revelation is going to explain exactly why the shaking in your life has been so intense and why it had to happen now, in this very season of your life. Beloved chosen soul, take a slow breath and let your spirit settle, because this next part goes deeper than anything you've heard so far. What you're about to receive isn't motivation, it's revelation. It's the kind of truth that rearranges the way you see your past, your present, and the future that's already forming around you. You've been sensing it. That strange pull in your chest, that quiet awareness that something inside you has been breaking open. Not breaking down, breaking open. The difference is everything. A breakdown collapses you. A breakthrough exposes you. But a breaking open? It transforms you into someone your old life cannot contain. That is what's happening inside you. You're starting to process things differently. You're beginning to see through people instead of just seeing their smiles. You're noticing the tension behind words. You're feeling the shift in energy before the shift even arrives. You're reading the room in seconds. You're recognizing motives, not just behavior. You're sensing the truth behind silence. This is not paranoia. This is discernment. Heaven has been awakening your inner radar. The part of you that picks up what others hide. The part of you that senses danger before it comes. The part of you that recognizes alignment before you have the evidence. You are being prepared to navigate life, not by sight, but by spirit. And spirit never lies. But there's more. And this is where it gets deep. You've been craving depth in places where depth doesn't exist. You've been searching for honesty in people who only offer convenience. You've been seeking safety in hearts that haven't healed themselves. You've been trying to be understood by those who have no capacity to understand themselves. This misalignment isn't a flaw in you. It's proof of your evolution. You're rising, and they're not. You're growing, and they're staying. You're awakening, and they're asleep. And when a chosen one awakens, everything misaligned begins to fall apart. Not because you're rejecting your old life, but because your old life cannot breathe in the atmosphere you're stepping into. Listen carefully. What you call loss is actually removal. What you call confusion is actually clearing. What you call chaos is actually reordering. What you call loneliness is actually isolation for transformation. Heaven isolates you before it elevates you. You are being carved away from noise so you can hear instruction. You are being separated from the crowd so you don't dilute your calling. You are being pulled inward so your inner world can stabilize before your outer world shifts. And yes, the shift is coming. But before the shift, God always works on the internal architecture of a chosen soul. That's why you've been feeling more sensitive to dishonesty, emotionally allergic to chaos, quick to withdraw from draining people, detached from your old habits, unbothered by things that once upset you, drawn to peace, clarity, solitude, hungry for meaning, growth, and truth. This is the spiritual equivalent of leveling up. And leveling up always exposes what can't stay. You've noticed certain people getting distant for no reason. You've seen attitudes towards you suddenly shift. You've felt certain connections fade without a clear ending. You've watched some opportunities close even though you were qualified. You've experienced sudden resistance in places that used to be easy. It's not random. It's alignment. When God elevates your identity, He disrupts your surroundings. You cannot carry old relationships into a new dimension. You cannot pour your purpose into places that leak. You cannot build destiny in environments that drain you. You cannot step into clarity while surrounded by confusion. So heaven is doing the work for you, closing what you would have kept open, removing what you would have tolerated, protecting you from what you would have excused. And though it feels uncomfortable, the truth is simple. You're being redirected, not rejected. You're being positioned, not punished. You're being shifted, not shaken apart. But there is a deeper layer. And this is the part your soul has felt, even if your mind hasn't understood. Your identity is being rewritten. For years, you walked around as the version of yourself shaped by survival. The child who had to adapt, the teen who had to harden, the adult who had to endure. You lived from wounds that were never healed. You shaped your personality around pain. You made decisions from fear, not vision. You carried burdens that weren't yours. You learned to overextend just to feel valuable. You learned to overgive so you wouldn't be abandoned. You learned to stay quiet so you wouldn't create conflict. But heaven is breaking that version of you open. You can feel it. You're no longer okay being the emotional caretaker. You're no longer okay being underestimated. You're no longer okay shrinking your voice. You're no longer okay carrying guilt for outgrowing people. You're no longer okay pretending you're fine. You're no longer okay staying small. Your spirit is rejecting anything that limits you. Why? Because God is reintroducing you to the version of yourself that life buried. The wise one, the discerning one, the confident one, the intuitive one, the called one. You are not becoming someone new. You are returning to who you were always meant to be. And now your endurance has matured into strength. Your sensitivity has matured into intuition. Your wounds have matured into wisdom. Your silence has matured into discernment. Your isolation has matured into identity. You're stepping into a higher dimension of yourself, a version with clearer eyes, stronger discernment, deeper peace, and sharper purpose. And hear this. Everything you've survived has positioned you exactly where you need to be for what heaven is about to release. The shaking was preparation. The separation was protection. The pressure was activation. The transformation is unfolding. And chosen soul, the next revelation will explain why your entire inner world has been reorganizing. and why heaven chose this exact moment to wake you up.